What's up, Conference USA fans? Welcome back to another episode of CUSA Insider, the official podcast of Conference USA. I'm your host, Sarah Rudolph, and we are back with another episode of our CUSA football preview series. This time, we are going to be previewing the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, and I am super excited to have Josh Jonas back with us again on the program. I'm going to miss you when you go to Canada in a couple of weeks. I don't know who I'm going to have somebody else here with me. I'm tired of doing these things by myself. So
I know. Sorry. Just need a little more time off before we get, kicking off with football season. But yeah, we're a couple days closer to our first game on August 23rd between Sam Houston and WKU, and another couple days closer to everyone else kicking off that following week. So really excited to get into another program here and also have a new guest on.
Yes.
That's still pretty fresh in her own job. So I'll let you kind of, tease that.
Yes. Okay. So joining us today, she's sitting there in the back of the studio, Emmy Fazenbaker. Thank you so much for joining us today. New to Middle Tennessee, as we mentioned before, but she's been deep in the football program and meeting with Coach Mason, talking all about it. So she's going to tell us a little bit about what Middle Tennessee is up to. Emmy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I'm in a new role here at Middle Tennessee, but I've been going. I just saw you all in Texas for CUSA Media Day, and that was jam-packed. But it's been really exciting. I've been here for about 2 months almost, but it seems like 2 days is how much we've been trying to figure out, especially like what you said, football season coming up. But yeah, it's been great. So
nice. Emmy, we want to give you a chance to kind of give us a little background.
Yes.
You being new to the league, we want people to learn a little bit more about a face that they'll see all over Middle Tennessee's content. But tell us a little bit about where you came from, what your background is.
So I'm from a small hometown in Western Kentucky area, about an hour from Paducah, Kentucky, if anybody knows where that is. But I graduated with broadcasting and communications major, and I went straight into local news. Even though I studied sports the entire time I was in college, I went on to do local news just to kind of get my foot in the door to see what it's about. It was difficult, to say the least, especially the transition from college to, local news. There's a lot going on in that area. I was actually in Evansville, Indiana for 2 years. But it taught me a lot. I was my own camera woman. I edited everything by myself. I shot everything. I wrote everything. I was, tapping the record while trying to scoot back really fast to do my stand-up. But it taught me a lot about being versatile, which I think is extremely important, as a 22-year-old woman trying to step into this landscape of broadcasting. But I've always wanted to do sports ever since I was younger. I grew up watching 30 for 30, 60-minute sports documentaries with my dad. I come from a basketball family too, so I just really knew that sports was my calling, and I really wanted to step into that landscape. And Middle Tennessee gave me this opportunity, and I'm so excited to share the stories of not just the athletes and the coaches, but I've continued to say this, but the community of Murfreesboro, because it's very unique in its own way. And yeah, it's been great. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, Emmy, tell the people where they can find you on social media if they want to follow along. Go ahead and plug yourself a little bit, because you will be covering not just football, but all sports for Middle Tennessee.
All of them, all 17. It's at Emmy Faz, EMMY FAZ. That's on X, Instagram, even Facebook. So I'm hitting all of the demographics with that. So yes, Emmy Faz. So you can check out all of the insider, all of the scoop. I do a lot of behind the scenes. I try to take videos behind the scenes of what I'm covering. Well, I know we'll get into the SAPC, our new facility, here soon. I've been trying to take a lot of inside videos of that too, because that's just been a really big project for us over here in Murfreesboro. But yeah, that's my I guess my handle that you can go and check me out on.
All right, Emmy, thank you so much for that background. You've obviously joined a great department there on the broadcast and media side. You guys just had this nice state-of-the-art media studio that you unveiled. And so you're unveiling another great another great facility there at Middle. So we're recording this here on a Tuesday. It's being released on a Thursday. So in between that, though, tomorrow, Wednesday, July 30th, you guys are revealing a brand new end zone facility. So a lot of you will see this come out on social media before this episode actually airs. But tell us a little bit about the excitement around the community surrounding that new facility.
So I've obviously I've only been here for 2 months, but ever since I've been here, this has been the huge thing that everybody's been talking about, that they've been working towards for years and years now. Because yes, they started really trying to put the gears in motion about 3 years ago, but this has been in the works for, I would say, I mean, almost over 10 years now. $66 million facility, 3-story, 85,000 square foot. It is going to house football on the second floor, but it is going to be open to any student athlete who wears MTSU across their chest. So I think that's very pivotal. That's very important. And what maybe people kind of forget to think about is that this is not only impacting the football program, it is impacting every single sport that walks on campus. And we have state-of-the-art equipment, whether it comes to sports medicine all the way to the training room, the weight room. It's incredible, you all. I walked in last week and a girl, coming from a small hometown, I'm walking in, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is insane. I mean, I've talked to Coach Mason very lengthy about this whole process. And for him, he wanted to really implement recovery and rehab tools that every student athlete could use across the board in every single room of this complex. We have red light room, we have saunas, we have the HydroWorks 2000 hydrotherapy. I'm pretty sure that's how.
We believe about anything you say at this point.
Yes.
All this stuff is going.
Yeah, I had to really study it, let me just say, to fully grasp everything that was going into this building. But yes, once you see this episode, we will already have unveiled it all. The community will have given tours, they would have walked through it. And it's not only just transforming the student athletes' perspective on MTSU, it's also changing our game day environment. We have the third floor, which is like a VIP experience. It's called the SRM Concrete Club. And with that, it's going to be overlooking the end zone, and it's like perfect. Again, on Twitter, you'll be able to see a picture of where I was last Friday whenever I looked at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, Floyd Stadium is going to be rocking whenever people are sitting right here experiencing the end zone look, whenever a play develops in the game or certain things like that. It's incredible, to say the least. So, but
yeah, that's awesome. And I'm get so excited when I see, there's a lot of schools around the conference that are doing similar upgrades like this and building these amazing facilities that are, one-stop shops for all their student athletes, not just football, right? And not to get on my soapbox here a little bit, but it's awesome. I mean, it's great to service the student athletes, because obviously that's priority number one within all the athletic departments in our conference. But just the impact that it has on recruiting, and I mean, to what you just mentioned with health and nutrition and all that kind of stuff that plays such a huge role in the student athlete development right now. And I know that just kind of speaks to the amazing Murfreesboro community there, some of the amazing student athletes that have come through this program and will hopefully, continue to bring some incredible student athletes to this program. So we'll kind of transition onto the gridiron now a little bit. There's plenty of amazing stories to tell there at Middle Tennessee. I think, maybe not many greater than the one of Nick Vattiato, who has already been there as a starter, going into year 3 as the starter, has really poured all of his, collegiate career into being a Blue Raider, which is really unique at the G5 level or really any level of college football these days. So, stepping into this kind of pivotal final season there at Middle Tennessee, just talk to us a little bit about his legacy, about his role in the program, and what you're really expecting from him this season.
So whenever I first met Nick, again, I've heard a lot about him, but he is very vocal on the fact that he just wants to play some football. Yes, this is his last time wearing the blue and white, but for him, I asked him in one of my interviews, one of my podcasts, I said, if you could just hopefully describe the season in one word by the end of the year, what would you want it to say? And he said, everything. I want it to be everything. I want it to be everything and more, whether it's on the offense, the defense. They have a lot of new O-line members going to help him with ball control too. And for him, I think he's just ready to put the pads on and go. He's tired of talking about it. Honestly, that was the main thing that we were really talking about is he's been here for 5 years. And I asked him the same question. I was like, in the landscape that we're in of transfer portal, NIL, why did you stay here? And he was like, there is no other environment like MTSU with the family side of it where I can just walk in, I can talk to my coaches. Him and Coach Mason have a really tight bond too. But he's going for his third consecutive year of passing yards, over 3,000 passing yards. That's what he's hopeful for. And with his new O-line, I am not going to, quick to say maybe he can do it. I know that he can do it. In my honest opinion, just even knowing him for the past month or so, he's a great leader. And I think that's what you really need in that role. Your quarterback in the pocket, that's exactly what you need, especially with this new O-line that we have. But I'm excited for him. I think especially like people like him, Parker Hughes, who also was at CUSA Media Day with us, they talked about how they were freshman college roommates. I didn't even know that until they were talking to you, Sarah, about that. And both of them decided to stay here. It speaks volumes. And I'm just excited for them. That we have all these new gadgets and stuff, but at the end of the day, they're just ready, to get onto the field and to show what they can do, to show how hard they've been working.
Yeah, what a fun fact, because that was fun for me too. Like that. So Parker, you'll learn a lot about Parker here in just a little bit when we do the second half of our episode, which is my interview with the guys at Media Day. But Parker was a walk-on, which is just incredible. So you'll hear more about his story. So a walk-on with what ends up being the starting QB and Nick Vattiato, and that's how their relationship kind of formed. And I say it in the episode, but it literally turned into the let's just compliment Parker Hughes show there for a second. And it was awesome. I just loved it. So stay tuned for that here in a second. But I know you've been really talking to Coach Mason a lot, just as because you're new, just trying to get an idea of what the team makeup looks like this year, what the coaching staff is talking about. So I know you mentioned before we got on the call that you've really been talking to Coach Mason about, some of the guys that are coming back, some of the guys who have transferred in. Are there maybe one or two guys, or maybe even more than that you're looking at to kind of see how they perform in camp, which starts on Thursday when this episode is released?
So I've been really looking at the transfers that have been coming in, especially at the JUCO level. And one for offense is Najee Cox. He comes from Fresno City, a community college out in California, and his stats are pretty incredible. And I've heard a lot of great things coming from spring camp into, we're about to enter fall camp almost a month away from kickoff. So I'm really excited to see how he uses his JUCO style of things kind of translate onto the field, but also for defense, cornerback Jordan Chestnut, he is another JUCO guy coming in. And I work with obviously all the communications guys in the office, and they were really raving about him during spring football too. So I think overall, I'm excited to see the JUCO guys really step into this. For them, it's a whole new chapter for them to see if they can really play at this level. And I think that they can do it. No problem. I think, again, with a lot of me and Coach Mason have talked about this, that yes, there's a lot of new faces. There's 62 new players, 30 of those being, upcoming freshmen. But I think at the end of the day, the nucleus is still the same. And we've talked about that a lot. But overall, these new JUCO guys coming in, new transfers entirely, I think they're really adding a new layer onto this team that was needed coming off of last year and entering this new season.
I know that one of Coach's big pushes right now for that week one game is Phil Floyd, right? And he preached it all throughout Media Day, all throughout our kickoff events. Kind of speak more to that. I mean, what all is going into that, in the community there, on the ground, and how important is that to really get the season off to a good start with that community around the team?
It's been our motto, to say the least. As soon as I got here, we were preaching it, and we're going to continue to preach it because, let's be real. The environment around you is what makes college football what it is, and especially the community of Murfreesboro. We're so tight-knit. Like what I was mentioning earlier, we're so unique, and I think Coach Mason just really wants to get back to the way that things used to be. Whenever, everybody wanted to come to an MTSU game. Everybody had either a family member or they knew of someone on the team, or it was just very, the connections were all around. And for him, trying to build this program and in his own way, he knows that he has to rely on the community for that. And I think he is really big on making sure that the players are out in the community. I know that they mentioned, and you're going to hear it, the offensive line at the supermarket every single or the farmer's market every single Saturday. I went out there. They have their own peanut butter. They didn't mention that.
I love that.
They have their own peanut butter called Blindside Peanut Butter that they sell there, alongside them also, being inside the tents and helping different vendors. And So, yes, we're calling on the community to come fill Floyd, but Coach Mason is also trying to implement that the players are showing how much they appreciate the community. And I think that was really big for him. And so, yes, Phil Floyd, that's what we're screaming. That's what we're saying from the mountaintops. And I think it can really come to fruition, especially with the new facility too. We're just trying to tell not just the student athletes, but also the community that we're buying into our sport programs. We're really doing that because we believe in them and we want what's best for our student athletes.
That's awesome, man. She hasn't been there long. She's got the PR stuff down so far.
Got it.
And also, I and my 3-year-old son love peanut butter, so I'm gonna need to get my hands on
Some blindside
peanut butter.
It's gourmet. It's delicious.
That's awesome. I mean, and we talked to Coach Mason about it on Media Day. He is very in on Burrow built, middle made, which I just love that. The alliteration, the play on words, it's perfect. But you talk a lot about Coach Mason and just how important the community is and all of that. And I think that another thing that he's really focused on over this last couple of years is keeping like a cohesive coaching staff around him, keeping guys that he knows can really buy into that moniker of Burrow built, middle made. Just one really big coaching change this year, I think, on the special teams side. So what do you think that coach is really trying to capitalize on in year 2 with this program? Obviously 3-9 in 2024, kind of a rough season for Middle Tennessee, but now he's got a lot of players back that are his guys. He's got a coaching staff surrounding him that are his guys. What are you expecting out of the Blue Raiders in 2025?
Again, I haven't been here for very long, but just from talking with the players and Coach Mason, there's a lot of continuity that has happened over the last 9 months. Like you mentioned, there's only one coaching change, which is pretty incredible. I think everybody in the whole entire program is buying into Burrow built, middle made, like what we've been talking about over and over and over, and what it truly means to be an MTSU Blue Raider, which, we've mentioned it many, many times, is blue collar, really diving deep and putting in the effort whenever no one's watching or whenever you don't think anybody's watching. I'm really expecting them to come out swinging. I really am. They've been working their tails off. They've really been doing what they do best. Whenever I was talking to Coach Mason again and both of the players, we went out to dinner and we were having these hard conversations. And what really impressed me about Coach Mason is he was saying, what do you all need from me? I know that I constantly am talking about what I need from you, what I need from you, what I need from you. But as a head coach and like for my coaching staff, what do you all need from me in order to make you all better? And I think that's a great conversation to have, especially whenever, he's in his second season here at MTSU and he talks a lot about what he wants, and he's truly trying to cultivate that. And for the boys, for the student athletes, again, whenever we were talking about it, they're like, dang, I just can't wait to put some pads on. Like, we are so ready. We're tired of talking about last season. This is a brand new season. We just love the game of football. And that's what they kept saying that they like are seeing around them, is that, yes, like a lot of these boys have transferred in, there's new faces, but the same thing around them, it's the same mindset, is they all just love the game of football and they just want to play. And I think whenever you take all like the logistics away and certain things like that, and you just get right down to the nitty gritty, that's what they want to do. And I think that's going to speak volumes, especially on August 30th, our home opener against Austin Peay. And I'm so excited to see them do what they love.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about the intangibles of a program, a team, a coaching staff, things like that, and I know he was big on that last year when we were preparing for, his first time through CUSA Media Day, was this emphasis on, the player-led coaching, right? And letting Nick do Nick, right? And Nick lead the offense, and letting the guys like Parker, Brandon Buckner, some of these other guys that have been in the program for a long time, that care about the success of the program, really lead the guys. And that kind of trust is what motivates the guys to want to just get the pads on, right? They want to get out there and play. They want to get out there and play for their coaches, play for their community. Just some really awesome stuff. And I'm excited for the Blue Raiders to kick it off. You talk about, coming out swinging. And when I was listening to the CUSA preview on Group of Five guys, they're both Middle Tennessee guys. And they talked about how this was the first time in a long time that you look at this non-conference schedule and you're like, hey, there's some opportunity here, right? I know traditionally they've always played two of the Power 4 schools. And there are times, they beat Miami a couple years ago. They almost knocked off Missouri a couple years ago. Like, they've had the opportunities to get those big wins, but a lot of times, we know why those games are on the schedule. This year, a little different, right? You do play Wisconsin, but there's a couple games on the schedule there that you're like, hey, we could come out of this 2-2, 3-1 if things go the right way. Obviously, you assume the Austin P one, filling the stadium, that's a win. But, I look at the Marshall game, that Hall of Fame game.
At home.
Yes, home. It's homecoming. There's just so much, pageantry around that one. Again, against a team that you look at and you're like, all right, new coach, a lot of guys left. Maybe this is an opportunity to pick up a big G5 win. Kevin Byard's being inducted into the school's Hall of Fame. We got to talk to him last year, which was awesome, but I'll quit talking now. What games are jumping out to you on this schedule? How excited are you for the 2025 slate?
I'm very excited. Whenever I look at games, I'm really big into rivalries. The Western game is going to be huge for us. And again, I've been talking to many of the guys, and we haven't beaten Western. For a lot of, none of the guys that have been here, they've never beaten Western. So that's one big game. I am really, really excited to kind of see them hopefully come out on top. And I think, again, whenever I was talking specifically to Nick, he was like, it's one game at a time. Like, no matter who we're playing, no matter what's happening, one game at a time, one step at a time. And I think that's really big for them. Coming off of last year's season, looking at the records and the stats, and then switching it to this season, that's what they've really been emphasizing, is that we can't just skip to week 4, week 7, week 8, week 1, and continuing on. But for me, yes, definitely the Western game, I'm going to say. But they're really just trying to make sure that everybody is tight-knit and they are comfortable and they are connected. Again, you're going to hear this whenever Sarah plays the podcast that they had with Parker and Nick and Coach Mason. But one thing, and I told Nick this afterwards, that was so, it really, for me, I was like, that's such a good quote, is he said, you can't go to war with people you don't know. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, Parker, that was, yes.
Bars.
It was awesome.
Yes, I said, you're exactly right. And I think for them, every single game is going to be a new chapter, a new challenge. But I think as long as they're doing it together cohesively, then that's what really matters. But I'm continuing to talk more too, so don't worry. But I'm going to say the Western game is one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I know they're excited about that being a Saturday later in the season.
Yeah,
and there will be, potentially a lot on the line in that one.
For sure. Yeah, that was the one I asked the same question. I'm like, guys, what game are you looking forward to? And they're like, well, week 1 and the WKU game. Like, they were like, we're not going to just coach speak this answer. We're going to tell you that we want to beat WKU. When you do look at the conference slate, just to run it down just for our listeners. So you guys do play several. You have 4 Conference USA home games. You've got Missouri State, the newcomer, coming in there to the Floyd. Jack State, defending CUSA champs, although that program definitely looks a lot different than it did last year as well. New coach, new quarterback, all of the things. So they'll be coming there to the Floyd. FIU at home, Sam Houston at home. And then you look at your away slate. You guys are going to Kennesaw State, going to Delaware, another newcomer in Conference USA. That game against WKU is an away game there in Bowling Green. So that's always tough when you have to go play a rivalry game at the other stadium. And then you end the season out away at New Mexico State. So definitely some winnable conference games there. We'll be reviewing and previewing, I guess I should say, all 12 of our teams over the next couple of weeks. So we'll get a little bit better of an idea of what those teams are going to look like as well. All right, Emmy, anything to end us out on?
Let's fill Floyd. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it plain and simple, what we keep saying. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here and to watch everything unfold. So.
Awesome. Well, Emmy, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you're still fresh on the scene there at Middle, but really great insight that you were able to share with the CUSA Insider Pod.
Thanks, Emmy.
Of course. Bye, guys.
All right, everybody, coming right up, we've got our Media Day interview with head coach Derek Mason, quarterback Nick Vattiato, and linebacker Parker Hughes. Stay right here.
Middle Tennessee has taken Conference USA by storm since joining the league in 2013, capturing over 40 conference championships. Just 35 miles from downtown Nashville, you'll find Murfreesboro, Tennessee, home of the Blue Raiders. MTSU was named by Princeton Review among the nation's best places to earn an undergraduate degree for the 6th straight year, and described as a go-to choice and a hidden gem by students for its quality and value. It is Greater Nashville's #1 college choice and the top provider of graduates to the area's workforce. Its nationally recognized programs include aerospace, recording industry, mechatronics engineering, and nursing. And after the 2024-25 school year, MTSU's 44 conference championships ranked as the most since joining CUSA and span 10 different sports, including men's and women's basketball. Located in the geographical center of Tennessee, Murfreesboro is one of the fastest growing cities in the country. Visit these sites to learn more about MTSU athletics or Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
All right, Conference USA fans, welcome into another segment of CUSA Insider, the official podcast of Conference USA, here at the 2025 CUSA football kickoff in Frisco, Texas, at the PGA of America headquarters. We are happy to be joined by the Middle Tennessee State University Blue Raiders in the house, Coach Derek Mason, Parker, and Nick joining us here today on CUSA Insider. Guys, thank you so much for coming in here.
Thanks for having us.
To have you guys here. I almost said thank you so much for having us. This is my last interview of the day, guys, so you'll have to excuse me here. But I'm excited to talk about some Blue Raider football. We're going to talk about some fun stuff, but we're going to start with the football stuff here first. So
let's do it.
Hopefully no difficult questions right out of the gate, but obviously, Coach Mason, year one last year as head coach, I'm sure that there was a lot of learning curves with the program, just it being new to you, them being new and in several different areas with the transfer portal era that we live in now. But what are you looking forward to in year two at the helm of the program?
Yeah, it's the reclamation for us. You go through a year one and it's all new for everybody. Everybody's learning everything from communication to speed of trust to how we want to play football. And that's not an overnight deal. Sometimes it happens instantaneously, but in my career, it's taken just a little bit of time for everybody to get on the same page. And so with that, though, I've got a wonderful team. I've got a core group of 49 players that we built this team around. And in this day and age of the transfer portal, everybody talks about the big number. The big number is 62 that we had come in, but you were going to have 30 freshmen come in no matter what.
Right.
Okay. So really, it's been some key additions up front. Some key additions to provide quality depth, whether that's transfer portal or junior college. We hit on some players, and I'm confident about what this team can do. It's got a group of seniors who I truly believe have gone through enough things to where they understand what this thing is about. It's not about the individual accolades, man. It's about the connected achievement.
Guys, for you, obviously, transfer portal looks different sometimes on the coaching side than it does on the player side. Lots of new faces to get to know and learn about. So what is it like from the player perspective, just getting in the locker room with, like you said, it is 62 new guys, but you're going to have 30 new freshmen anyway. But what's that like for you guys?
Yeah, just the chemistry part of it. You really want to build a connection with these guys because you can't go to war with people you don't know. So, I mean,
That's a good way to put it.
if I'm best friends with this guy, we're going to play that much better. So I think the chemistry part of it is huge.
Yeah, I think when I look at the row of lockers I'm in, guys to my left, to my right, like in front of me have changed like the last 3-4 years. So kind of to Parker's point, like you really got to get to know these guys in the limited amount of time that you have, especially the guys who come in June who aren't here in the spring. It's a little like added just challenge just to get to know them. But I think the amount of time we've been able to spend with each other in the summer, really building up that chemistry, just getting close to the guys, whether it's on the field or off the field, kind of makes us, especially I think as leaders on this team, feel comfortable going into fall camp about what we have.
Yeah, and you're about to have a lot of time together with
Yes.
fall camp starting here soon. When do you guys start?
We start the 30th, so it's coming here quickly. But we're moving into a new facility, and it'll be one of the best in Conference USA. This thing is about recovery. It's about nutrition. It's about the ability for our student athletes to do the thing that they came here to do, which is spend time around ball and stay connected. For the first time, I think in their tenure, in their fifth-year seniors, they'll have an opportunity to be in a space where they don't have to leave, and we don't have to go to other buildings to get done the stuff that we need to get done. So this is a renaissance time for MTSU football, so we're excited about it.
Yeah, I was going to mention, you guys have obviously new additions to the roster, but a lot of new additions on campus, especially on the football side and the athletic facility side right now. You got a lot of really exciting projects going on there.
Yeah, the Smith Athletic Performance Center will be, like I said, it's state of the art. I mean, we're going to be in a place now when, I mean, we talk about what we do for recovery. I mean, it'll probably be as good as anybody in Conference USA. And that's important because nowadays the way they practice, what we do, how things are, all year round, this thing is about truly how fast you can recover. And that takes some discipline. So this group is, the new building will be great, but I think the team going in it will sort of make this thing go.
Yeah, for sure. So is there, I always like to ask, is there like a motto or something you guys are saying in the locker room going into this season that is kind of holding you guys together? Anything that you're throwing out there, any like core values?
I always start with the idea, man, we're borough built, middle made. Like that's, Murfreesboro, it's not Nashville, it's Murfreesboro, right? And, we are Middle Tennessee. And that connects us, that mantra connects us. Man, to be borough built, okay, man, we go to work in a place where, man, we feel good about what we do, but we're connected to our community. We're connected to Middle Tennessee. And the middle made, in part, I truly believe encompasses what our student athletes have been doing over the last 2 years. Nobody really knows how connected this group has become to that community. The great teams, great programs, they connect to their community. And that's what we've done. And we expect this thing to fill. We expect Floyd Stadium to be filled this fall. So I think that's my strongest mantra.
For you guys, how is it to have a head coach and coaching staff in a university as a whole that does focus so much on the community side of things?
I think it's great. I think especially this summer with every Saturday there's a farmer's market. We've had O-linemen partner with local businesses and kind of come up with their own kind of business and become entrepreneurs in their own right. We've helped that. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. They've done a great job with that. Helping out the Boys and Girls Club, getting to see them, reading the elementary school kids in the spring. We have this thing called Camp Ability. We go to a local school for kids with special needs, help them kind of play through drills, throw the ball with them, and have a good time. And I think it's awesome. Like, you really see the feedback and how happy those people get to see us. And I think gaining their support and having their support is like, it's what you want, especially like we get to go out there and play for them and play for Murfreesboro and just kind of put it all out there for them, and they could come support us. And there's nothing better than having people in your own community support you.
That's awesome. Parker, do you have anything to add?
That was great.
Yeah, that was great.
He hit it on the spot.
Really cool on the program you're doing with your offensive linemen. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's 3 of them. They partnered up with a local business in Murfreesboro who is always at the farmer's market, and they put together 2 of their own spreads, and they've been going around kind of being their own little entrepreneurs and selling to people, and it's been good for them.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. All right, a couple more football questions before we get to the fun stuff. But with the newness on the roster, you guys didn't have a whole lot of newness on the coaching side of things. But what is middle football going to look like? Middle Tennessee football this year? Is it going to look very similar to what we saw last year? Is the brand of football still the same, or are we going to see some new stuff on the field this year?
Well, we look to have an improved brand of football. We play well on special teams. When you look, Coach Pascal, who's an MTSU alum, had an opportunity to move forward, but there wasn't a lot of change on our staff. We were able to bring in Coach Louis Chofie, Max Arnold was elevated in special teams, and two of our 3 special teams coaches are still on our staff because we have a staff of 3 special teams coaches. So I think, it starts with being able to play good special teams because that's about field position, right? And everything else is about the continuity by which in year 2, a year ago, I just thought there was some trepidation in terms of, new language, everybody getting to know each other, different lineups every week up front. We're looking to move past that, and we do that by winning days. We put days together. That's our focus. Our focus is to put, back-to-back days together and let days become weeks, weeks become months, and that's how we built this football team. It wasn't for us scoring 42 points in one possession. It's about how consistently we can be every day with the discipline that football requires, because winning takes what winning takes.
So you're not going to like my next question, because if you're taking things day by day, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to get a coach speak answer, but maybe not. I don't know. Is there a game or 2 on your schedule that you're circling? I know you're looking right at week 1, ready to get out there, but any like fun matchups that you're looking forward to? Maybe 1 or 2 from last year that you're looking to maybe flip the script on for this year? Anything that you're looking toward?
Well, the next one.
Yeah, you got to take every game one at a time, obviously. But WKU is our rival. I mean, 100 miles of hate. You want to win that game.
Yep.
And I want to go at the top dogs. I mean, Liberty's the top dog. We got to get them. Obviously, we won't play them in the regular season, but we want to get to where we are playing them later in December. But, WKU is a big one for me. I mean, I've been here for 5 years now and haven't beat them yet. So I think it's time to do that.
Love it. Love to hear it. You're a former walk-on, aren't you?
Absolutely.
What is that mentality like for you, going from being a walk-on now? You're in year 5, is that what you say? So just tell me a little bit about your path and what it means to you to be borough-built middle maid.
Yeah, I mean, we got the idea of blue collar, and where I'm from, I think a lot of that stuff happens around my community and stuff. You see a lot of blue collar, so it's just been ingrained in me since I was little to just work hard, don't give up. And, I saw the opportunity here at Middle Tennessee to walk on. I had some other offers. I wasn't that recruited in high school, but I had some. But, just walking on, you got to be ready for whatever's thrown at you, because if you're not ready for that opportunity, then you're not going to get it again. So as a walk-on, you got to take every practice, every game. Mentally, you got to be ready for anything. So guys that are walk-ons, just take that advice and just keep going no matter what. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Hopefully there's a walk-on out there listening to this.
For sure.
If I could step on that for a second, because I think that's important, right? I mean, like that is blue collar. When you can come like to college, everybody has the dream of being a scholarship athlete, right? But you have to embrace your role. And he started early as a special teams guy and then moved from special teams to a position guy. And, a lot of people don't know this about Parker, but or they do, but nobody really talks about it. His production, 77 tackles a year ago, he only played half the season. I mean, he missed the first half of the season, and that was a hard sacrifice for him. He had to watch us go through what we went through early, but when he hit the field, the dude was a monster. And I think his mentality is a part of the reason why he's here, but like what makes us different in this. Him and Nick are blue collar guys. They've been here. They grew up here. And they've embraced the idea of being borough-built middle maid. So that blue collar mentality of what our walk-ons experience, a walk-ons experience at our place is no different than a scholarship player's experience. They eat with us. They get everything they get. So we don't separate guys in our place. You separate yourself behind your play.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I give Parker credit. Coming in, we were roommates freshman year together.
Oh,
so
really?
I kind of
Oh, that's awesome.
So I saw him trying to figure out, is he going to play safety? Was going to be more linebacker? He left for a summer. He came back. Like Coach said, he started on the special teams, and he just constantly showed how much of a dog he is. He earned his scholarships. I mean, he's just one of our leaders on defense. I mean, it shows. Guy flies around the field.
This has turned into the Let's Compliment Parker.
Oh, yeah,
let's
go.
No doubt.
Appreciate you, man.
Great.
Appreciate
Yeah, man.
All right, flipping to a little bit more fun line of questions.
Okay,
here.
fine. Okay.
So
Let's get it.
here we are on a set of a podcast, but you yourself, Nick Vattiato, have a podcast with another quarterback on the team, Thick and Roman's Empire. And you guys had a really cool get. I mean, you've had several, don't get me wrong, but one that I think made some waves was you guys had Cam Newton on our show. Tell me a little bit about how that came to be and how cool it was to interview someone like Cam Newton, who is obviously a great player in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we had a ton of great guests, but having Cam Newton on was probably amazing. Like, that's an experience not many people get to have. I mean, that's Roman's childhood superhero, his idol. So I think, Coach Mason and then Mr. Dana, who's our, kind of our GM, also helps kind of look over equipment, but he's done a ton for our program. Their connections from their time at Auburn, they were able to get Cam on. And I'll tell you, Cam was firsthand experience, one of the most down-to-earth people, sharing a ton of stories, really open about just asking us questions, which was really cool. I don't know, what people might have this, perception of him online, but I'll tell you what, he's one of the nicest, one of the most down-to-earth people. And it was just, awesome. Being in the position we're in, Roman and I aren't journalists by any means. We're just two guys who love playing football, and we've been able to have, a ton of our teammates on, coaches on. We had Trey Stallings on, and, Cam was, cherry on top, getting to talk to someone who's been at the highest level of kind of each level of football. He won the Heisman. He was at the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's really dream come true again to talk to a guy like that.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I went to Alabama, and I even liked the interview. So it was hard for me to humble myself. I'll still say that. Yeah. So, okay. Another fun question I think the fans always like to hear because it gives them like a little peek into the locker room. Tell me who the funniest guy in your locker room is.
There's a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
Love that.
We got a lot who think they're funny.
Yeah. Ellis Adams. He's funny.
Ellis Adams.
He thinks he's really funny, but he's funny.
Yeah. Ellis is really funny. I think the O-line as a whole is funny.
Yeah.
Like, I think individually that they're pretty funny, but when you get those guys all together, they're hilarious. They're a hilarious group. And they're super tight-knit and always laughing.
I had another quarterback tell me this earlier today. And I asked him the same question. How do you fit into the funny? Because obviously you're with those guys all the time.
I think I do a really good job, like, driving the comedic relief of the team sometimes. Maybe sometimes when things get a little too serious in the weight room and Coach Blahnik is on us, like, might look at a guy and crack a joke and just, like, look at a guy from across the room when Coach is yelling at someone else and lighten the mood. But, no, I think the O-line, the D-line's a pretty hilarious group, too. All of our big guys are pretty funny. So,
awesome. Coach, do you have anyone else you got in mind?
No, I think they're spot on, right? To be honest, when I'm not around, they joke about me all the time. They're constantly, like the impressions. I walk into some of these impressions, and I'm waiting for the rookie show. But here's the deal: when the rookie show comes, I want to make sure that all coaches, are part of this, not just me. So, I mean, hopefully, everybody gets their fair share of sticks.
All right.
Okay.
Well, final question for you really quick here before you guys have to go. If I'm coming to Murfreesboro for a weekend and I need to have a bite to eat, we call this segment CUSA Eats here on our show. Where do I need to go and what do I need to get? You guys
I'll just start rambling on. Firebirds if you want steak, penne pase if you want pasta. The Boulevard is really close to campus, just kind of good bar and grill vibes. Pliables if you need like acai bowls, really refreshing.
For your body, gotcha.
I mean, fruits, Parker. Yeah,
I like nachos. It's a Mexican restaurant.
Nice. Anything to add?
I'll go 5 on black. We were talking about it the other night. I think, Nashville's a foodie place, but Murfreesboro has its own fair share of delights. So if you come to Murfreesboro, you're going to find everything from Asian cuisine to Mexican cuisine to barbecue. You can find it all. So we got good eats.
All right. I'll take your word for it. Okay.
Got it.
All right, guys. We're really excited to see you guys on the field this year. Excited to see what the Blue Raiders can do in 2025. Roach Haken, Mason, Park Hughes, Nick Vattiato. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your day here at Conference USA Media Days.
Will do. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Let's go Blue.
Huge thank you to everyone at Middle Tennessee who participated in today's show. We had so much fun talking to the players at Media Day, and I'm glad that you all got to meet Emmy, who we will be seeing a lot of from the Blue Raiders this season. But we've got more coming in the next few weeks. We're previewing programs all over the place.
Yeah.
We've got a lot going on, Josh. So we just talked to Middle Tennessee today. Next week, we are talking about another program who we have talked about. We're doing these ones early that we know who the quarterback is going to be. So next Monday, we're releasing another episode because next week, everyone, is a 3-episode week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're releasing previews every single day because we wouldn't be able to fit them all in before football season if we didn't. So
Beauty of having 12 members. Right?
the beauty, yes. So who are we talking about next week?
But
sorry, Dane, for having to edit all of those, but we appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
So
excited to hear more from the guys from Media Day. Excited to talk to Corey Riggs, their director of broadcasting. He handles their radio stuff there. Give us a little more insight on just learning a whole lot about the Bears and their football team. And then after that, we'll have La Tech on Wednesday, another one that, with the return of Evan Bullock, return of Sonny Cumbie. Obviously, not a lot of answers there. They will have a few other positions that we'll definitely talk about some more. But yeah, excited to just talk more ball.
yeah, me too. Dane, who we got on Friday? New Mexico State. All right. I there's so many I've forgotten. So New Mexico State, we'll preview them on Friday, who they also know who their quarterback is going to be, Logan Fife.
A new face.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought him to Media Day. They said from the spring, Logan Fife is our QB1. I know that was a tough thing for them last year. Just having that uncertainty at quarterback going into the year, into Tony Sanchez's first year as head coach. Now a little bit more, continuity. So,
Yeah.
Hopefully that pays off for the Aggies. But yeah, excited for all 3 of those episodes next week.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So But if you want to catch all of these episodes, I mean, especially I think there might be a lot of people tuning into Missouri State because there's a lot of unknown for our programs that are coming back after last year. New program in Missouri State coming in. So if you want to watch all of these, you better be following CUSA Insider Pod on social media at CUSA Insider Pod, Instagram and X. Go to Conference USA's YouTube page, type in Conference USA in the search bar. If you can't find us, you'll be able to find all of CUSA Insider's video episodes there. And if you are still one of our OG audio listeners, we appreciate you too. And you can find those on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. All right, everyone, that is it for us today. Thank you so much to Josh and Emmy for joining the show. You are listening to CUSA Insider Pod, the official podcast of Conference USA. I'm Sarah Rudolph, signing off.